Yes, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to La PIÑA ROSA, where, just a quick spoiler, we have a grand total of one goal to talk about across
And
both
none
games,
for both
and
of
none
us.
for either team. But before we get into that, welcome back to the show, of course, where we talk about Palermo and Deportivo a Coruña. Both teams starting to stutter when it comes to hopes for automatic promotion. Both still, of course, firmly in those playoff places in Serie B and La Liga 2, respectively, of course. But we'll get into it today. Quite a bit to say. Transfers as well, heating up on Palermo's side. I'm sure Ten will have some information about Deportivo regarding that as well. But yeah, definitely quite interesting. Besides, only one goal across both games that we're going to talk about. But yeah, 10, welcome back to the show. Look, it's definitely going much better for you because obviously, I mean, Newcastle are actually
What? What do you mean?
I know you lost to Villa, but you're still you're actually capable of winning a game. Big up to Rashmi, I think that is. You're actually capable of winning a game, unlike Spurs. So in the league, that is. So, but anyway, welcome back to the channel. Not a great weekend for you, but apart from that, on the football side. But apart from that, how are you doing?
Yeah, doing good. Obviously, yesterday, lots of different football stuff. Newcastle, Deportivo lost, but at least my actual local club, like the one that I'm actually only like 5-10. The stadium that Chole actually managed to see, Lugo, or one place below the playoff for the third tier, so the tier below Deportivo. Um, I think 4 wins in the last 5 for the Lugo team, so pretty good. Hopefully, maybe if Deportivo don't go up, hopefully maybe Lugo. That'll be quite nice. We'll see, but yeah, just not a good weekend. But looking forward to what happens on Wednesday. For anyone watching, watch long.
Yeah. For those that don't know, both of us across both channels, just like this show, we will be doing a live watch along for the Champions League phase final day. Big up to Dantrum. The final game week, every single game kicking off at the same time. Of course, massive games for both Spurs and Newcastle. Spurs and Newcastle with wins will finish in that top 8. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But yeah, massive couple of games there. Go and check it out. We will be live, trying to cover as much as possible.
Maybe
happening.
I have 1 or 2, or who knows, some more guests.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll try and put a panel together and everything. But yeah, just like this show, just like that show, this show is streamed across both channels. So please subscribe to both if you haven't already. Yeah, somehow we'll probably somehow throw that away, knowing Frank. But anyway, that's another story.
And for anyone that hasn't seen my prediction of Frankfurt versus Spurs,
oh man,
just check out the show we did the other day.
That's, like I said, another story for another stream. But yeah, like I said, please subscribe to both channels. Of course, we're here to talk about Palermo and Deportivo. Like the stream, get all your thoughts in the chat. And just a quick question: will either of these sides finish in the automatic promotion spots? Because we're definitely going to have quite a lengthy discussion about both teams. Sort of, I guess you could say, credentials for getting into those in both leagues. The top 2 go automatically to Serie A and La Liga. But I guess we'll start things off. This week we'll start off with Palermo. Usually start with Depor because they have more games, but this time I thought we'll switch it up. Start with Palermo. This is now a concern because yes, our unbeaten run was stretched to 9 games. However, the issue with the unbeaten run and this game is that we're turning into draw FC, and we've had way too many games this season that we've drawn, and too many games that are sort of costing us getting towards the likes of Venezia and Monza and Frosinone. Modena 0, Palermo 0. I predicted this exact result. I said 1-1, but it ended up being 0-0. In terms of the lineups, as you can see, pretty much as expected. The only thing I would say is Jacopo Segre, I don't think suits one of the 10s in that front three. I think he should be in a number 8. I think Inzaghi got that selection wrong, if I'm honest. I don't see led to run Vasic as well. I'm not sure why Vasic wasn't used, to be honest. Corona coming on there, Giassi as well. But it was a strange selection. Segre, I don't think suits that position. Apart from that, it's pretty much the team that I expected, to be honest, although Peda maybe in for Birincinski was a sort of surprise change. He did do it in the last game.
Well, yes, I just checked. Look, even though it's not the same person, but look at who was the referee of this game. I just saw it.
Who was
I think you have to go all the way to the top of the page.
The top. Who was the referee?
And then referee. Look at the last name. I just noticed it now. Dionisi.
Listen, I don't think there's any relation, but yeah, when the name's Dionisi, you know that we're in for a rough sort of ride with anything to do with Palermo. But yeah, no, thanks for pointing that out.
I just noticed.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's any relation, as far as I know, anyway. But yeah, like I was saying, pretty much the team I expected. Obviously for Modena, Zampano, Mendes up there, Pedro Mendes, De Luca. Di Mariano surprisingly didn't come on. Our, of course, former player there. But yeah, those were the two teams. In recent weeks, Palermo have had a problem with scoring goals consistently. Obviously, we've been getting quite a lot of 1-0 wins against Sampdoria, against Padova, against Spezia last week. But there's also been a lot of games where not being able to put the ball in the back of the net has cost us. Mantova, 1-0 up, conceded that late equalizer. Avellino went 2-1 up, albeit we did score twice in that game, but still conceded late on after going down to 10 men. And this time against Modena, no goals, 0-0. Another 0-0. We had quite a few. We had a 0-0. We've drawn 0-0 a few times. Venezia, Frosinone earlier in the season.
Modena earlier as well, 1-1.
Drew with Modena 1-1. Although I think in that game, Modena deserved to win, but this time out, I think a draw was the fair result, if I'm being honest. In terms of what happened in this game, absolutely nothing. It's a simple... I'm not even joking.
There was you could say controversial disallowed goal.
Yes.
Near the end of the game.
Yes. That was the only thing that really happened in this game, because Palumbo, against his old club, put the ball in the net. They disallowed, what was it, for offside or something?
I think because the goalkeeper had possession.
Oh, yeah, that was it. I forgot. Yeah, because the goalkeeper, they thought he caught it, but they claimed that. Yes. For me, there's not a lot in it. I think that back in the day, there's no question about it. Like, the goal gets given. Palumbo, obviously, he's unlucky not to kind of get that goal. Giassi should have actually scored moments before him as well. So we had that chance. But overall, apart from that, I didn't think either team created much. I mean, Modena did hit the crossbar in the first half from a really good long-range strike. But even themselves, only one shot on target for them, only 2 for us. Both teams doing Thomas Frank extremely proud. I will tell you that. Both teams, if Thomas Frank watched this game, he would be jumping with joy. I can tell you that for a fact. But I do also understand that, look, for those that watch Italian football, there is a lot more tight games. There is a lot more sort of 0-0s. Because in Italy, this is what I always say, tactically, the teams, even in Serie B, tactically, the teams are fantastic. Tactics are a massive part of the game. Whereas you look at, for example, the Prem, it's a lot more focused, I think, on individual brilliance rather than actually the manager. Yeah, or rather than actually the manager setting up a plan. And this game was a chess match, it's fair to say. As you can see, between Inzaghi and Andrea Sottil. So, yeah, apart from that goal, which I think should have been given, nothing happened. Really, barely anything happened, and it was a complete snooze fest. But at the end of the day, I can't really complain too much about that goal because we should have created more. And this is the problem with Palermo is we need. I always say this: we've got Poyampalo, fantastic, best striker in the league. We've got Palumbo, who's really come into it after a sort of slow start. We need another player, and that's why we're going after the likes of Tramoni and Jonsen from Cremonese. Danny Motta even has been talked about as well. That's why we're looking at these signings, because we need something different in that front three. We need somebody with a bit of pace and creativity about them. And I think Tramoni is that perfect combination. Obviously, at Pisa in Serie A, negotiations taking a long time. Palermo have had an offer rejected, €5 million obligation to buy with promotion if we get promoted to Serie A. Still ongoing. I do think he will come in, but it's obviously going to be right at the end of the window. So that's why I think we're looking for that type of player, because we need somebody that's a bit different. You know, we need something. I always said this about Palermo. One of our biggest issues is we don't have enough pace. We don't have somebody that can just, you know, cause chaos, you know, and open up the game and really make it, you know, difficult for the opposition. We're all too, in these kind of games like this one against Modena, we're very predictable, and this was a big problem. And I think that we just need a bit more spark in that. Like I said, not that the players are bad that we've got, but we just need something different. We just need something that can change the game and can open it up in different ways. And ultimately, Palermo, the biggest issue for us this season is not killing off games. And this was another example of that, because, you know, we had that goal, obviously rightfully or wrongfully disallowed, but we should have created more. And ultimately, a draw in isolation away at Modena, not a bad result at all, because Modena have actually been having a decent season this year in the playoffs and everything. But, you know, my main issue is it's not even this result that's the worst. It's Mantova, like we spoke about, failed to kill off the game, got punished late on. You've just seen Venezia go and score 5 goals there. You have Avellino, the 2-2, and Diakite basically cost us that whole thing. But definitely a result that puts the top 2 in jeopardy for Palermo, because all of our rivals won. Venezia, who, for me, Venezia are the best team in the league right now, the form that they're on. Frosinone picked up a win, Monza as well. This was points dropped that, you know, increases the distance. And it's making me, despite us being on a long unbeaten run, too many draws in there. And it's question. I'm not saying we're a bad team. We're definitely one of the best teams in the league. We don't lose many games at all. But I'm questioning, do we truly have what it takes to go and grab that top 2 as it stands right now? I mean, 10, I've gone on for a while. I'll let you have your say on this. First of all, thoughts on the game. Modena 0, Palermo 0, albeit not a lot happened. And also, do Palermo right now have what it takes to sort of really put the pressure on the likes of Venezia and Frosinone in that top 2?
Yeah, I think it was pretty much a boring game, I'll be honest. But yeah, like looking at the table, I'll be honest, because literally nothing happened in the game apart from what we just said.
I mean, do you think the goal should have definitely been given? You think?
It didn't seem like. I mean, you would probably expect the goalkeepers to be more protected most of these days. So I'll probably say, I guess not given, I think was the right call. But even then, I think both teams weren't that good. But yeah, like in terms of the table, you know, to be in terms of top 2 would be what, 6 points right now?
6 points away from Venezia.
Venezia, Frosinone haven't lost. Maybe Monza will get back into form. So that's 3 teams, especially that are pretty strong. So it feels like for Palermo, it's about now really turning draws into wins and maybe turning losses into draws. But, you know, despite only losing 3 games all season, I don't know. I feel like at some point, the way Palermo have been playing, it might catch up in one of the next 1 or 2, 3 games where Palermo loses at least one of those games. You know, because you have the famous Empoli team with Dionisi in charge.
They just got battered by Canarese, by the way. Absolutely battered. But it's Dionisi, so we shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. But then obviously with the upcoming games for Palermo, it's about picking up the goal scoring, because now it's been drying up, I would say.
we picked up a bit. I mean, we had this problem earlier on in the season. We started to pick it up, 3-1 away at Empoli, 5-0 against Cadarese. We really started to pick it up, but it's kind of dried up again. And I think the problem we've got is we're not getting Poyampalo into the positions where he's deadly, basically, because he is still the top scorer with 12 goals in Serie B. But I don't think we're getting the ball from the midfield into him consistently enough.
Yeah, and I think it seems to be the problem with Palermo. I mean, if looking at the table as well, like a lot of teams are just as good defensively. The top 6, apart from maybe Cesena.
Well, that's the part of our game that I will massively give credit to, because our defense has been fantastic this season. Yeah. Just 14 goals conceded in 21. It's a brilliant record. And, you look at it, Bani, I think, has made a huge difference. I mean, if you watch Palermo last season, you'll know that our defense was shambolic at times. So Bani has come in. He's been captain, obviously, since Brunori has left or not playing. And he's been brilliant. He's really been sort of the difference maker, I think. So the defense has been great. I can always trust our defense, but killing off games, obviously, as you were saying, that's the main issue for us. And it's too many draws. You look at it, 8. We're very good at not losing games, but it's 8 draws is too many. Is too many for me.
Yeah, especially at this stage of the season, whereby some draws might have to have been wins in order to be a little bit higher up, or at least close, because now 6 points behind, you could say the most informed and probably the best teams. Frosinone, a very, very good team. And Venezia, especially, I would probably say being 6 points from second is worse in terms of when I talk about Deportivo later. But I think the competition is pretty tough now for Palermo. If the rest of the season is how we've seen most times, I don't see Palermo getting the top 2 unless they change up in the next game, whereby in the next few games, I would say. I think if it means giving up on your defense, like maybe conceding a few goals, but now you score more goals, because I think Palermo are more capable of it. It feels like it's either you do well defensively, but attacking wise, it depends, or you go super attack, and then maybe you kind of.
I think it's just about the right balance. I think the problem we've got as well is that Venezia, who are obviously occupying the last automatic promotion spot, they're not slowing down. I can tell you that.
And they can cut their hair.
Yeah. They've won more than 5 in a row as well. They are not slowing down. They are, for me, they're better than Frosinone right now. I'll be honest. I'm watching Venezia and Frosinone. I think Venezia are much better. And I'm telling you, in the upcoming weeks, Venezia will overtake Frosinone. Just watch this space. They will overtake Frosinone if they keep going the way they are going. You've got guys like Buzio in that midfield. You've got Sverko in the defense.
And I believe you play them in the final day.
We do. Right? That final day, it could be. I mean, that's the thing.
I mean, maybe at that time, Venezia is already promoted, but
that could benefit us if they're, because I think at the moment they're making a real claim to be sort of top. I mean, just look at their matches. They've won literally 6 games in a row. They haven't lost they lost to Inter in the Coppa Italia, but before that they drew to Avellino, won the 2 before that. So they've won in the league. They've won like 7 out of 8 games basically. And you look at who they've got up front, Adorante, second top scorer in the league. You go Yaboa in there. Like I mentioned, Buzio, Dumbia. You've got who is it? Sverko, like I mentioned. Stankovic as well in goal. Like this is a good team, and they were obviously one of the favourites to bounce straight back up to Serie A after getting relegated. So it's going to be tough to catch them. I'm actually looking. I'll be honest. I know they're second and Frosinone's top. I'm looking more at Frosinone. I think they're more catchable than Venezia right now.
Yeah, and also it will depend on Monza as well. How
see Monza's interesting because I don't think they're as good as the top 2, but I think they've shown at times that they are very capable. They're a very
especially the 3-0. Yeah,
they did. They beat us. They put 3 past us. at our ground. So, listen, Monza obviously in Serie A last year. You know, here's the thing. The problem we've got as well is that the good thing for us is we a lot of our players have recently played in Serie A. We've signed players with Serie A proven sort of know-how, experience. The problem is that our club haven't been in Serie A recently whatsoever. We obviously have a great history in Serie A and everything, but we haven't been in Serie A since 2017. So the club has obviously been through a lot. You guys know the story. We got liquidated. We've had to come back up through the leagues and everything. The club reformed as a Phoenix club and everything. You know, these teams above us, Monza, Venezia, are both in Serie A last year. Frosinone were in Serie A 2 years ago. You know, all three have got promoted to Serie A, of course, in very recent years. You know, is it to do with an experience thing? Because obviously, look, Palermo have Serie A players that have played in Serie A. We have a manager we have a manager in Inzaghi that got promoted with Pisa last year. So what is it? Because Pisa, they hadn't been in Serie A for more than 30 years, you know, last year. So I mean, how do you kind of see that aspect of things?
Yeah, I think probably last season where Sassuolo were literally, you know, prime Barcelona.
Everyone knew that. Everyone knew that, though.
So that was almost like one spot was gone already
from the start.
I think the competition last season for the top two was more not as tight as it is this year, I would say. I think
last year Pisa and Sassuolo ran away with it last year. Yeah.
Whereas this season's a little bit more tighter, which can help Palermo, but you know, it also means that dropping points like this game against Modena means that, you know, it's actually much more bigger in terms of losing points like that. So I'll probably say that the lost points in the game against Modena and a few other games, especially, you know, games like United States Catanzaro type of.
Or Juve stat. Well, they're only two of our only losses this season, obviously, along with Monza.
Yeah, so I think it's about making sure that you can turn draws into wins. But I feel like it's also about finding the balance of the team, because you're either scoring a lot or maybe you don't score at all and you concede eventually. And sometimes
we've been good at not generally, apart from like Mantova and Avellino, we've been good at not conceding. When we get the first goal, we often know we're good at getting results in that sense. When we go ahead, we're often 9 times out of 10 going to get the result this season.
Whereas if you go behind, what happens?
We've barely been behind this season. That's the thing. Like the only games we went behind were Monza, obviously the losses, Monza, Catanzaro, and Juve Stabia. But apart from that, the only games we went behind in, I think, was Avellino and Cesena and Entella. So actually, we've been behind more than I thought. So maybe, that's a fair point, to be fair.
Because I think it's about what happens when you do go behind, or what if you go 2-0 behind? Then what happens, you know, with the goal scoring one? So I feel like it's about making sure that once you score a goal, you try to either kill it off or you play Frank Ball and Haram.
But here's the difference, right? First, like I mentioned, in Italian football, it's a lot more tactical, so the games are naturally going to be, you know, less lower scoring. But also, here's the difference: Inzaghi's actually getting way better results than Frank is at Spurs in the Prem. So I'll tell you that. But in terms of what Palermo need, obviously, I'm sure because I've been telling you about it. You've seen the rumors about Tramoni, Jonsen, Danny Motta, even from Monza. You know, if we can get one of these players in, preferably 2, Jonsen, Tramoni, hopefully, do you think this can help turn Palermo, you know, it kind of get us scoring goals, you know, being more consistent? Because I think Tramoni's obviously somebody that Inzaghi had at Pisa, obviously did very well last season. Recently has kind of fought his way back into that Pisa starting 11, despite their sort of struggles. Of course, you know, looking like they definitely will get relegated this season. But how do you see it? Because obviously, like I said, the latest news is Tramoni. We've had an offer rejected, loan with obligation to buy for €5 million in the event of promotion to Serie A. Pisa wants 6 million euros. So there's, but it's obviously been going on for a while. Jonsson seems close. It seems like he seems like he is the closest player to joining Palermo from Cremonese. Of course, played, with Palo at Venezia. So has experience of getting promoted. And the interesting name was Danny Motta, because Danny Motta is actually injured right now, but he's at Monza. And Monza are a massive sort of promotion rival to us. So it seems like Monza, if they sell us Danny Motta, you're kind of thinking, what are they doing? But at the same time, I'm reading that Danny Motta really wants to come to Palermo. So that make of that sort of what you will. But in terms of the transfers, what would you make of all of that regarding Palermo?
Yeah, I think it's all about making sure you get someone that can help support Paulo. Let's say if he's not scoring, because who's your second highest goal scorer? That's not him.
Yeah. That's I don't actually know. I don't know
exactly. So when that sort of thing happens, then it starts to be a problem in a way whereby if your main guy just is not at it for a day, then you're more likely not to win, which was kind of like the case against Modena. So I feel like that might be something you have to go for within the next week, because the transfer window closes next week, I know, like on the 2nd of February. So I think it's very important to get the result that is needed of getting transfers in. And it seems like, unless you actually get someone, because your upcoming game against Bari, is on Friday. So
that's right.
You don't have much time in a way. Well, it would assume to be. You don't have much time to get someone in for that game against Bari. I don't know when's the registration, but I would assume it might be Tuesday morning. So that's like practically 2 days to try get someone at least before Bari. Otherwise, if something's not right on that day, then congratulations to Bari.
Yeah, look, we'll get into Bari in a minute, of course, but we need to get Tramoni. For me, is the perfect player, because he's the kind of guy that can link the midfield and attack, which we've sort of been missing. I think having him and Palumbo sort of supporting Poi and Paulo, I think is a good balance. I think Jonsson, obviously the same type of player as someone like Tramoni. Danny Motta would be interesting because he's obviously a striker, and he'd kind of, come in as directly replacing Brunori. So yeah, like it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting who we do get in. Like I said, I fully believe Tramoni will be a Palermo player, because the same thing, for those kind of doubting it, the same thing happened with Poi and Paulo last January. Negotiation dragged on and on and on until the last day. Poi and Paulo joined Palermo from Venezia, who are in Serie A, just like Pisa this time, and eventually it did get done. I have full belief that Tramoni will join. It's just about, when it gets done. And Jonsson, I think, could join as well. It's weird because there's been conflicting reports. Some reports are saying we want both. Other reports are saying it's one or the other. Both would obviously be fantastic if both joined.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the case. I think it'll be one or the other. That's what I think. Probably Tramoni.
Tramoni's the main target. Like he's for me is he's the main guy that we have to get in. But we'll see how it plays out as we do move on to Palermo's next game. Of course, we travel to Bari. Not that far in Puglia. So you look, for those that obviously know geography, Palermo, most of our away games are like the longest trips in Italy, because most of the teams are from the north.
Newcastle in reverse.
Yeah, it is sort of like that, because most of the teams in Italy are from the north, in Serie B anyway, and in Serie A. Most of the teams play in the north. We're one of the only southern teams. So usually our away, just like Modena, that was a long ass trip. But I don't know if you saw it on the highlights, but did you see the amount of fans that travelled up?
Yeah, it seems like
incredible support. This is what I love about Palermo, is our fans travel in big numbers. It's not often you see teams, travel that far from the distance. We did it with Avellino. We've traveled we have big away followers.
Island as well.
Exactly. So the support at Modena was fantastic, and I'm sure that will continue this season. But Bari, obviously, like you said, not that far in PIñA. So obviously, enough
similar as if you would to somewhat, not really, but somewhat go to Naples.
Sort of. Although Bari's
it's a
on
bit
the
more east coast.
Bari's on the heel. It's on the heel of Italy, so it's sort of near there.
Like the
near
east
Lecce.
side of it, right?
Yeah, Lecce, who of course they're rivals. So
yeah.
But yeah, Bari not doing well this season. They are currently sitting 17th in, of course, the relegation playoff spot. However, they did just get a massive win. 2-1 away at Cesena. Cesena, of course, are one of our rivals for promotion. They are sitting just below us, of course, in the table, sitting in 5th. Good Cesena side as well. Bari went up there and won, albeit I don't know if you saw it, but their defender made probably the goal line clearance of the season to kind of keep the score at 2-1 right at the end. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. That was a mad. I don't know how he's cleared that off the line, if I'm being honest. So Bari, they haven't been doing well. And Bari, I'll be honest, they've sort of been a shambles ever since they almost got promoted to Serie A in 2023. Of course, what was interesting about that was that they also got promoted from Serie C, just like we did that season. They almost got back-to-back promotions, obviously losing that playoff final to Cagliari. Of course, Ranieri came in and saved them that season. But Bari, since then, haven't really recovered. They've lost some key players, Capride, Fororoncho as well. Chedira left as well. So they haven't really been the same since then. And obviously, we did beat Bari 2-0 at the Barbera. Took us a while to break them down, but eventually we did get there. 2 late goals in that game. Bari away, it's never easy, though. It's never easy. Obviously, they got a big stadium for Serie B. I mean, we do as well. I mean, 36,000, but Bari is even bigger.
Stadium.
Bari Stadium is huge. It should not be in Serie B. So
yeah, it'll be like what do you call it? It won't really matter, but it'll be like West Ham Stadium next season.
Or like Tottenham Stadium next season, the way it's going, sort of. But yeah, Bari's never an easy game. We've struggled there in recent times. Obviously, you had 2023 when we couldn't score against 9 men. Obviously, missed a penalty. First, that 0-0 you had last year, we ended up losing 2-1, but that's Dionisi for you. So what do you expect? But Bari, they're not doing well. But don't get me wrong, there's not really a rivalry, but there's a little bit of hatred between the fans. Obviously, a southern sort of thing. Palermo and Bari don't really like each other, so there's going to be a bit of heat, bit of a rivalry, you could say, albeit not really a derby. We need to score goals in this game. I want to see us go out there and be on the front foot from minute 1 and get an early lead. Because I think the first goal in this game, like it is in every Palermo game this season, is huge. If we go and get that first goal, I trust our defense to see it out. But we can't be messing around. We can't be, 0-0, maybe even go. We can't be doing this sort of thing. After that Modena game, if we're going to, hold on to any... I think, if I'm honest, if we don't win this game and the rest of the teams win, top 2 could be kind of over. If I'm being really honest, like top 2, if we don't win and the teams around us win, top 2 is looking quite far away. If I'm being really honest, despite, obviously a long way to go still in the season. But it's a massive game. Yeah, and we have to bounce back from that draw against Modena. 10. What's your thoughts, Palermo Bari? Can we go there and win? What's your sort of thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I mean, Bari feels like they're like the Zaragoza, well, not really, of Italy nowadays, or not really Malaga, but something like that. But yeah, I think Bari haven't really done well, though I always feel like they should be a little bit more higher up than where they are. But
they're massively underperforming. They're a big club, Bari. They used to be in Serie A. Big club.
And big stadiums. So I think depends on how many fans actually turn up to their stadium nowadays, especially how bad they've been this season. But I don't know. You know what? Like, I feel like maybe Friday night football, maybe if Bari can take their chances and they finally did win a game, whereas I feel like if Palermo were to go behind in this game at any point, I feel like there may be a bit of chaos in terms of like, can Bari actually hold on to a lead? I think that'll be the main question, because I think Palermo can get it back if they go behind. So I feel like this game's going to be tough, especially as you said, it's kind of like it's not as big as like the El Clasico of the South, but it feels like the mini Clasico.
Listen, it's not Catania or even like
Napoli.
Even Napoli, but there is. Let's just say both teams don't really like each other. That's for sure.
Yeah, I feel like at the end of the of Friday night, I feel like that's going to be the case for you and other Palermo fans, because I don't know, something tells me the unbeaten run probably comes to an end.
Can we make it 10 unbeaten, or will it stop at 9?
2. I'll go 1-0 Bari in this one. I feel like if they go ahead, I think they'll sit back, and I don't know if maybe there might be some opportunities Palermo could score, but then be a bit wasteful, whatever. So I'll go with Bari 1-0 Friday night football.
I think like I said, if we want any chance of getting towards that top 2, we can't afford to not win this game. If we don't win, I might be sitting here saying, we have to start, thinking about 4th or 3rd, for the playoffs and all of this sort of thing. Which, I mean, as it stands, that is obviously the case. But I think if we don't beat Bari, you're kind of really reality sort of settling in. And that's, obviously frustrating at this sort of, because it's still, there's still quite a while to go of the season. Bari, look, I was surprised. They've been awful. They have been awful, especially in recent weeks. So I was shocked to see them go away to Cesena, who are very difficult to play at their ground, and walk away with 3 points. I was very, very surprised, if I'm being honest. Obviously, a massive, massive result for them down at the bottom. But Bari, like I said, it's not easy to go there. I have to back us, though. Like I said, we have to. Inzaghi knows. I know for a fact he knows we have to win this game. He knows it. Hopefully, the players get that sort of message as well. I have to back us. I'm going to say 1-0, another 1-0, another 1-0 win for Palermo. Obviously, our away form hasn't been the greatest recently. We need to start picking up more consistent wins away from home as well. So, yeah, I have to back us, though. 1-0, 1-0. I think we'll just do it, but, with our away form and, sort of some of our struggles in front of goal or just creating, this could easily be a draw. I don't see us losing, but this could be another draw. Just got to hope we get it over the line. But it's a must-win game to stay, just about intact of that top 2. Have to go out there and win. So I'm going to say we're going to do it. I'm going to say 1-0.
Yeah, and feels like, especially both teams being low scoring since New Year, I think that might be the case. But who knows? Maybe it could end 6-7.
Oh my goodness. 6-7.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Listen, we have to go out and win. It's as simple as that. But 10, any final thoughts on Palermo before we move on to your boys?
I think for Palermo, it's just about making sure if Palermo do get the lead, it's about trying to see if you can score another and try to kill the game off. But we'll see.
Yeah, 100%. Let's move on. Like I said, let's talk about Deportivo. Get all your thoughts about Palermo. Will we get into that top 2 come the end of the season, or will we be in those playoffs and still hopefully within a chance of going to Serie A? But we'll have to see. But yeah, let's get into Deportivo. Deportivo had yet another sort of, I guess you could say, crunch match against a promotion rival. They've had quite a few of those very recently in the league. Actually, 4 in a row now. Yeah. Obviously got a massive win last week against Almeria. However, that was undone with what could be a very critical and costly loss against Racing Santander. Canales with the only goal of the game to seal a 1-0 win for Santander. Obviously, I've got it up on the screen here. Oh yeah, there we go. As you can see, these are the stats. A very, very sort of, scrappy game. This was similar to Palermo Modena in a few ways. That there wasn't, only two shots on target between both teams. Although Depor should have scored with the chance. They should have really taken the lead. Two lineups, as you can see here, for both teams. Obviously, the likes of Jeremy, Soriano, Cruz in there. For Santander, Canales, obviously Vicente, been key players for them this season. A tight game, unfortunately, was settled by Santander, and they go on to win what was a crucial game between the top two, as Depor dropped to fifth, albeit they're still closer to the top two than Palermo are. Still 2 points, however. It's now quite far away, 7 points from top spot. And it's still very tight, but, it felt like a sort of big game. Sorry, I'm going on for a while. I'll let you talk, Tennis, your voice, Deportivo. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, obviously not a great result, and it kind of somehow shows the sort of not great home form this season. Actually, I believe the last time we won a home game, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember, was probably when we were going on November, I believe. I remember we've lost the home games, like lost to obviously Santander yesterday, lost to Castellón, lost to Sociedad B, not lost, but like a draw against Cadiz and all those sort of things. But yet, if Deportivo play away, we are just as good as Santander away from home. So maybe I should only trust us away from home, especially considering how good our away form is. We're still the best away team, but because this was played at home. But yeah, I think overall, this was the game I said I was okay picking up draws in the 3 games prior to this. Like a draw against Cadiz wasn't the worst. A draw away at Las Palmas wasn't the worst. And obviously a draw against Almeria wasn't the worst. And we ended up winning. So I maybe hope that maybe we, finally get one over and actually get a win against Santander, because we've never beaten them in a long time. And now we've lost both games against them, home and away, which probably means that, especially with the Segunda, if you're tied on points, it's head-to-head, not goal difference. So in a way, if we finish on the same points, Santander is finishing above us. So, and now with 7 points, I feel like maybe first place. It's not gone, because I know how Santander move. They can do well, but then 2 games ago Santander were losing. If just before the 2 games, you see that Santander lost in the middle of it. So I think the Segunda is a lot more tighter, even though Santander are right now the current favorite. But I know that Santander also have that Arsenal gene at some point.
Yeah, last couple of seasons, isn't it?
Yeah, whereby they somehow missed out on the playoffs the first time, and then last season bottled the playoff semifinal to the team that is currently bottom of the league at that time. Well, nowadays. So, but they obviously have an advantage, Santander, being, in a way, 6 points ahead. But, in terms of this game, the fact that we only had like 1 or 2 shots on target kind of shows that now we're kind of like not that good attacking wise. And also, I believe we also haven't kept a clean sheet in the Segunda since November. So in a way, because we lost every game in December, that's in Segunda, and obviously since we got in the new goalkeeper, and the right back Altamira. He's still yet to keep a clean sheet, so he's acting like he's, how Strasbourg Steve says, Riddle and Ramsdale, haven't kept a clean sheet. So I feel like, in my opinion, I think we have to bring back Herman, the goalkeeper that was the goalkeeper at the first half of the season. I think he has to come back in. I'll be honest. I'm fine with Altamira as the right back because I think he adds, that La Liga experience and some bit of quality. But, we haven't kept the clean sheet in La Liga, the Segunda or La Liga High Promotion since November. I believe it was probably the Leonesa game back in November or something like that. So, and then we play Leonesa next. So, and they're losing. So, yeah, it's just not been it's been an okay January, but I feel like this was the game whereby it kind of shows that, okay, I think my expectations are going to be met, whereby we're not going to get top two. I said at the start of the season playoff.
Really? I mean, you're only 2 points away.
Yeah, but I just feel like you look at how, especially, look at the team that I'm pointing at, Malaga.
Yeah, we have to speak about Malaga. I mean, they were at the bottom of the start of the season. Now they're, they can now, their fans can cut their hair now as well.
Yeah.
5 wins in a row. Only a point from second.
Yeah, and Castellon as well. We got promoted with them almost 2 years ago now. And obviously Las Palmas relegated from La Liga. Almeria relegated from La Liga a couple years ago. So, yeah, it's still pretty close. I mean, the fact that, like, let's say if Ceuta, the team that's currently winning right now, holds on, they're in 10th and they're only 2 points behind us. So I feel
you could
like
easily go up, but you could easily drop right down.
Yeah,
the table. It's crazy. This is really tight.
Yeah, I think the good thing is not getting relegated. I think I'll be confident in saying that, but that's the least of my worries because I feel like I feel like it has to either come in February or in March. We have to have what Malaga are doing, like win 3-4 games in a row, something like that, be unbeaten, because I feel like that's probably the only way we can, I wouldn't say pull away, but at least offer up a gap from everyone else in the league. But I would probably say that, at the start of the season, I said we'll finish in the playoff. Feels like, even though it's only 2 points, but I don't know. I just feel like ultimately, I think it'll be the playoff in the end. Unless we improve the home form, then yeah. And also like keeping clean sheets and all. Away from home, we're good. The best away team in the Segunda, I would say. So yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult for us because there's a lot of teams fighting for not just the top two, but the playoff. I don't want to be that team that finishes in 7th. Nobody wants to finish 7th. Maybe in Serie B it's fine, but in the Segunda,
yeah, it's only the
7th,
top 6. It's only the top 6. Yeah.
Yeah. So fans can't celebrate finishing 7th or
in Serie B. There's more playoff spots. Yeah, that's
So
if you finish 3rd and 4th, you go straight into the semi-finals. So, I mean, we finished 8th last season, and I mean, I don't want to talk about what happened again. Juve Stabia.
Overall, I don't really think we'll get into the playoffs. I mean, not the top 2. I mean, I hope at least the playoff. But I just feel like the top 2. I feel like I wouldn't say it's gone, but we have to basically win. We have to go on a run of at least, I would say, 3 wins in a row from obviously starting now. I think that has to happen at least either in February or in March, or obviously the sooner the better, considering we are going to, some difficult games coming up, I would say. Though to be fair, the next game, is the team that's losing right now. Halftime, losing to, not losing, but like losing at the moment, Leonesa. But yeah, I feel like top two, it remains to be seen. Even though we're only two,
You're
we're at
still
least
close.
closer to top two, but
You are close,
there's
but
more.
you have to be more consistent. You have to go on a run like you did in October sort of time.
November, not October.
November,
October
not
was
October,
almost.
yeah. Yeah, no, not November. You have to go on to a November sort of run.
Yeah. So I feel like it has to come probably starting now, like the next couple of games or so. We have to win those. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting. But yes, it's annoying because that was obviously a big game at the top of the table and everything. Obviously you guys came unstuck. It was very tight. I mean, it wasn't the best game. Very, very tight. Obviously, Santander got their goal, which it must be frustrating because they concede a shit ton of goals and you couldn't really muster up a lot of chances against them.
And the game we played them, like back in October, the 2-1, it was an own goal that we scored against them.
Like we've spoken about Santander on this show before. Like they play like Angeball, like in Spain.
At least now they're the top, like Arsenal.
Listen, the bottle job's on. I can tell you that for a fact. But we'll see. But yeah, like you said, it's difficult because like obviously your home record is nowhere near good enough. You're kind of like Spurs. You're just terrible at home. It feels like at the moment, and that's not obviously the first time. We've said that about Deportivo this season. They've had some bad games at home, to say for sure, to say the least. But yeah, like how do you see it getting better? I mean, are you close to signing anybody at the moment, or sort of what?
I know we let like one or two players go, but not like the first team players. But I feel like at least it feels like we're keeping the better players. Yaramai, David Maya, Zakaria, obviously Molitieri, and all those sort of players. Soriano and everyone else. But I feel like it feels like we have to. For me, I think we have to change the goalkeeper. The new signing hasn't.
Fernandez, who used to be at Brentford.
Hasn't kept a clean sheet yet since signing. I know it was up against Cardiff, Las Palmas.
I think defensively, I don't think it's entirely him. I think defensively, you've had a few lapses in concentration.
Yeah, and I feel like that's probably going to continue unless obviously we sign anyone, which at the moment I haven't really seen much because we obviously signed Fernandez and Altamira so far, and those are really the only two new signings that have actually played games. And for now, I'm not been super impressed. So I feel like, in my opinion, we have to bring back Palermo or Haman, the goalkeeper at the first half of the season. I think he has to come back and play because I feel like I trust him at this moment in time, unless we continue with Fernandez in goal, until he actually keeps a clean sheet, then I'll be okay. Because if he doesn't keep a clean sheet, that means we have to score 2 goals at least to win a game. Because I feel like, especially now with the upcoming games, I was okay taking draws away at Las Palmas or Almeria. But now with the upcoming games, I feel like we cannot be taking draws now. We have to actually win.
Yeah. I mean, you've got kind of a run of fixtures. I mean, you have had, look, it's fair to say, the last few games have been very tough games. You've been playing pretty much all teams that are sort of around you in the table. So now, hopefully, I think that's partly why you've kind of, been a bit obviously inconsistent, 1 win in your last like 5 or so. Look, you have had a tough run. So,
also, there's been like, the Andorra, Sociedad B games.
Those were the real
back in December.
Those are the games you should have won. Those had to be 3 points, which is now why like you said, the next couple of games are massive for you guys.
It has to.
And starting with
Leonesa.
Yeah. I was gonna say starting with cultural Leonesa, currently losing to Sweater right now.
Yeah, the team
They
from last.
are. Yep, that's right. Leonesa are just above the relegation zone right now, just about. So they're definitely mixed in a relegation battle. That's for sure. Depor, I'm pretty sure won the reverse fixture. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
3-0.
3-0.
Even
So
though I feel like maybe we didn't deserve it in the end,
mm,
but we ended up winning, and that was one of the only few games that we won at home.
yeah, that's right. So obviously you played them away this time.
Yeah,
Has to be 3 points. It's like I said about Palermo and Bari. You guys, I think both Palermo and Deportivo, these next games could be very big in the context of the season. For Depor against Leonesa, you guys, surely you have to go and win this.
because actually, when you look at the home and away form, I always said we have the best away form in the Segunda. Leonesa at home, because it is at their stadium, they have the second worst home form. They're actually above Miranda's, and Miranda's haven't actually played at home because the stadium's being renovated. And
Yeah.
we beat Miranda's 5-1. When we
Yeah.
were pretty good and cooking. But now it feels like we're also slowing down in the cooking. It feels like we're just simmering, but we're not actually
Simmering.
boiling. So, the best away, well, joint best away form, Depor against the currently second worst home team, or when you think about it, really the worst home team, because Miranda's don't actually play at home, technically. This has to be a win. The last time we were there, however, we did lose 1-0 in the season we got promoted. So, I mean, I don't want to say, oh, we lose. Maybe it's the same pattern, but we have to win. This is the game.
No, forget patterns. You have to win. Forget patterns.
Yeah, I feel like this has to be a win, and I'll be more okay if it's with a clean sheet because we haven't kept a clean sheet. Actually, let me actually now fact check this. I believe I'm saying it's been since November, like the end of November, because I'm not going to count the Atleti or any of the Copa del Rey games because that's a different competition and better opposition. So conceded one against Santander, conceded one against Almeria, conceded one against Las Palmas, conceded two to Cadiz, conceded one to Andorra, conceded three at home to Sociedad B, conceded three to Castellon. The last time we kept a clean sheet was the 29th of November in the Segunda, and that was against the team that beat Real Madrid, Albacete.
Albacete, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I feel like, it's actually funny, we play Albacete after Leonesa. So I feel like this has to be a win. And I would also prefer this, please, with a clean sheet, because we haven't kept a clean sheet in the Segunda since the 29th of November. So it's been 2 months, like a lot has changed in 2 months, So hopefully we get a win. In terms of prediction, we do have a much better record against Leonesa, like these days, they got back up last season. So in terms of prediction, I'll go. I don't know. I know I said I would prefer a clean sheet as well with a win, but I'll go 2-1 for us to win. But if we
2-1
don't
Depor.
if we don't win, even if it ends 1-1 or 2-2, whatever, if we don't win, then I'm a bit concerned with playoffs even,
Well, that's how tight it is. You could 1 minute you could be second, next minute you could be outside the playoffs. Like La Liga 2 is extremely tight. It's completely different to Serie B. Obviously what we also talk. Do you know what I find funny about this show is that I feel like both Serie B and La Liga 2 are very different leagues. Like they're so different, and obviously we talk about both on this show. Like obviously the style of play in both leagues and the format, even with the playoff system and the how tight it is. Obviously, in Serie B, there's more of a gap. It's
Yeah.
very different. It is very different, to say the least. But yeah, in terms of this game, you got to go and win. It's as simple as that. With the position that Leonesa are in, Deportivo, it's the perfect chance for you guys to sort of bounce back and, get back to winning ways. I think you do win. Like you said, they've been very poor, Leonesa, for a lot of the season.
Especially
I don't think you keep a clean sheet, though. I don't trust your defense at the moment. So I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say 2-1. I'm going to say 2-1 to Deportivo in this game. I think, obviously, you recently beat Almeria away. You guys are seemingly better away from home than you are at home. So that could play into a part as well. They're bad at home. So, yeah, I think Depor should. Everything points to a Depor win. But with Depor, they've been so inconsistent. You just don't know at the moment. So, but I'm going to back you guys 2-1 to win.
Yeah, hopefully we get a win, but you never know.
We'll see. But I think that pretty much wraps up the show for this week. Of course, La PIÑA ROSA 10. Any final thoughts? Obviously, subscribe to both our channels if you haven't already, guys. Any final thoughts? Both teams, listen, it's kind of getting into a bit of a crunch time situation.
Yeah, obviously, we'll see what happens with Deportivo in the upcoming game against Leonesa, and then obviously eventually Albacete in the next one. I feel like that has to be 2 wins. But yeah, looking forward to probably season-defining week, not for Deportivo, because whether we win, lose against Leonesa, it depends really. But season-defining for the English team, I would say. Champions League, which we'll do a watch long, and then obviously, what do you call it?
Do you know what? I just realized if we lose or don't win, and I'm on with you, you're gonna cook me. Like it's gonna.
I said a draw, but we'll see.
Yeah,
prediction. So
you said we'd beat Frankfurt last year in the Europa. So
yeah, exactly. So you gotta trust me when you play Frankfurt or whatever.
Seems like it.
Obviously, looking forward to how everything unfolds on Wednesday, and I guess in a way Thursday, whether Celta Vigo can actually get top 8. They won't.
Listen, Celta, they're doing all right. They're doing all right. Look at in La Liga. They did, but they're doing all right. Their manager's good. What's it? Hugo Alvarez, I think it is. Is that his name? What's his? Yeah, because I've heard a lot of people say good. Obviously, you're not gonna like this as a Depor fan, but a lot of people are talking good things about. Who's their manager? I'm not. Hugo Alvarez is one of their midfielders. What am I talking about?
Yeah,
their manager is Giraldez.
Yeah, Giraldez.
Yeah. People saying good things about him. I mean, I'll take him over Frank, that's for sure. I mean, what phase is he in?
Yeah, still hasn't won a trophy, though to be fair, Frank has never won as well. But yeah, looking forward to the Champions League games and the Deportivo game on Saturday, I guess, as well. And Liverpool for Newcastle away. Let's see if we can actually win. With also, I'm not doing a watch along, but I'll have it on the side.
Oh, for those that know, the history of 10's watch alongs for Newcastle Liverpool is great.
No. Or maybe if because I know the WWE Royal Rumble is like 2 hours before kickoff. Maybe I'll just watch that instead on Saturday.
Too much last minute heartbreak against Liverpool.
Yeah, I might as well just watch like probably Dolph Ziggler win the Royal Rumble or something. So we'll see. But looking forward to the games, especially Wednesday. If we beat PSG.
We'll see. We will see. But like I said, guys, subscribe to both channels. Big up to everybody that watched, and we will see you on Wednesday for the Champions League watch along, where I'm probably going to cry about Spurs again. But big up, guys.
Man.
Big up, guys.